Hello, seasoners. Welcome back to another episode of the Travel and Tourism Podcast, my first season. My guest today spent just over a year with Club Med from March 86 to April 87. She began her journey as a mini Club Geo at Club Med Eleuthera and later joined the team at Club Med Cancun as a hostess working under Chef de Village Bob Fagan. Her story with Club Med began poolside. While working as a lifeguard, she crossed paths with a recruiter and was later interviewed by Andrea Livingston. Hailing from California, please join me in welcoming the wonderful Pamela Keller. Pamela, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Greg?
Good. I'm going to try not make all the jokes with your name, okay? Like Pamela and Pam. I'm gonna refrain, okay, because we have a lot to cover. So
it's okay.
I might slip one or two in there if it's okay with you.
I just spent a week in Eleuthera with my friends, and they did it the entire.
We're gonna get to that. Don't go spoiling your own interview right now. We're gonna get to that, Pam. She's already spoiling it, folks. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right. As I mentioned, okay. Well, let's start off first. Now, when you were working as a lifeguard, was this before university or college, as you say?
It was right at the end, my very last year.
I did some research on you. True or false? You studied at California State University, Fullerton, degree in child development. Then you later got a master's at Cal State Fullerton. Is all this true or false?
It's all true, but you forgot my teaching credential in the middle.
What? How much schooling did you do, for gosh sakes?
I've been there 3 times. So
wow. Okay. All right. So safe to say you're pretty educated then, right?
Yes.
All right, so take me poolside. You're watching, you're saving lives. This guy comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Says, hey, you'd be perfect for Club Med, right?
He said you'd be perfect for Club Med. And I said, no, it's pretty, but that's okay. And then I couldn't get it out of my mind. So I found this guy one day and he told me what to do. And honestly, if you've ever been to the New York office, they have piles of paperwork on their desk for people that want to work there. So somehow I sent mine FedEx right to some person. I guess they liked it. They sent me to a interview in San Francisco. I was sitting there was a beautiful blonde windsurfer woman and this gorgeous French man. And I was just praying that the California girl gets the French man, thinking then I'll get the job. But no, I got the blonde, beautiful windsurfer woman. She interviewed me for about 2 minutes. I went home. A few weeks later, I got a letter that said they wanted me, but don't quit your job.
Excuse me. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. They want you, but don't quit. Meaning that they didn't have a place for you just then and there?
At that moment, yes. We're interested in your credentials, but don't quit your job just yet. That was okay. What it was this very not signed, kind of this strange mimeograph kind of thing. And so I wasn't really sure what that meant. And then one day I went home at lunch, which I never did. I was a preschool teacher, and the phone rang. It was a late lunch at 2 p.m, and it was the New York office. And they said, it was a Wednesday, and they said, we have 200 kids coming to the village on Saturday and we need extra mini club geos. Would you be interested? And I was like, I have to quit my job. What do I do? I have to move out of my house. And my roommate's yelling, just say yes. And I said, well, what if I say no? And they said, well, we'll give the job to someone else. So I said, yes. And I never went to sleep after that. I just went back to my job, quit my job, packed up my house, packed up a bag, got on a plane and flew to Eleuthera, and I was there by Saturday.
Okay, wait a minute. In that exchange, you weren't concerned at all by the 200 kids. I would have panicked, but you're like, sure, put me in the teddy bear mini club. Why don't you? So that's basically what happened, right? They thought, hey, look at her degree. She's preschooled. She'd be perfect. So you get there. Jean-Pierre Rock, I guess, is your chief of village.
He wasn't there yet. And honestly, there was another chef de village because it was the end of the season prior to our summer season. It was the end of a winter season. I don't remember the chef de village's name, and everybody there was the old season. And so I met this whole group of people who some of them are my friends. And there was honestly a man in charge who was a little scary. Like I was nervous about him. So I would just do everything I was told, and I never, I had a great time. And yeah, then Jean-Pierre came, and Teddy Bear was our most fabulous, wonderful chief of the mini club. And we just had an amazing crew of people. And those are the people I'm still closest to today, obviously, after almost 40 years.
You studied French from junior high through college for 8 years. Did this come in handy at Eleuthera? Were there a lot of French guests there?
Oh my goodness, thank goodness I studied French. Yes, lots of French people, lots of French Canadians, which I had a little trouble understanding because it had a
Yes.
little bit of an accent.
Yes, you studied French, not French Canadian.
Yes, and I equate it to almost like people in the South of the United States, like their Southern accent. I always tell people it's kind of like listening to a Southern accent in French a little bit, and you have to figure it out. But I am very proud that I could sit at a table with all French speakers and pretty much hold my own. And by the time I got out of there, after the year, I would say I was about three-fourths fluent in French, which I love French. It was really a fabulous experience to be able to practice on the daily that beautiful language.
And as busy as you were, is it this season that you learned how to scuba dive?
Yes, sir. My roommate Claire was a scuba diver. And so even though all the cute French boys who, oof, ooh la la, right?
Yeah.
Even though they all wanted to teach me and be my scuba instructors,
Oh, that's so kind of them.
wasn't
My
that kind of
gosh.
them?
Okay.
So sweet. But
Okay.
I only let Claire teach me. So in Club Med, they had these 4 lessons, right? 4 Club Med lessons to teach you. And then, of course, you had to always be with, a dive instructor while you were down there. And so I did that. And then I did probably 50 of the most incredible, amazing dives. And nothing has ever, ever, ever come close to being as incredible as diving in Eleuthera back in 1986. Just going into caves and looking up and seeing the ceiling full of lobsters, diving down the blue holes. We would go over 100 feet down often.
Excuse me, Pam. Did you say you looked up in the ceiling and there are lobsters on the ceiling? I have to admit,
Yeah.
I scuba dive. I've never seen that. Why are they up there? Are there air pockets or something?
I don't know what they were doing up there.
Okay.
I'll never forget. We went into this cave, just kind of an open cave, not a little hole, but like a big opening. And one of the guys turned his lights on, and the ceiling was covered with lobster. And have never seen anything since like that, but it's a
Wow.
huge memory. It was incredible.
You
And
could
the
just
groupers, oh, the giant groupers, we would just be covered with them and huge barracuda who I think you're supposed to be scared of them, but I never was. And oh,
wait a minute, Pam.
the
Wait a minute. I'm sorry to digress. I got to get back to this lobster. So
diving.
you're saying you could just reach up and grab one, then have dinner, put some garlic butter on that bad boy, and that's you could not that you did do that, but there were so many that you could.
Yes, yes,
Wow. And who's
yes.
who's Chacha? What I'm seeing a note with
Oh,
Chacha.
Shasha.
Oh, Shasha.
Oh, Shasha. He was amazing. He was the first person I ever dove with, like that I went after Claire taught me. He was the dive instructor that I went on my very first real dive with, which was
Okay.
about 120 feet down. He was from France. He was a uniskier, like I think that's what they called it.
And water skiing?
No, in snow skiing. Yeah, in snow skiing. He was from some like the French Alps.
Okay.
All the girls had a crush on Shasha. He was darling and cute, but what a sweetheart. Like he was just a really nice guy who dove with us. And yeah, he was great. We went down 120 feet that day, and I had no idea because I wasn't experienced. So it didn't,
Well, the
I
statute of limitations has run out on that, so it's okay.
don't
But
know.
is this a Shasha a nickname? Because I got to admit, I've never heard a.
It must be. I have no
Okay.
idea what his real name is. At Club Med, a lot of times we didn't know our friends' real names. Like Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear was my boss, and until recently, I never knew she had another name than Teddy Bear.
Okay.
And quite often, we didn't know each other's last names. So it's
True.
hard to find our friends.
Or yeah, or who had a first season and who didn't,
Exactly.
all right. So you're here about let's see, I guess March to April, or no, April 86 to November 86, right?
It was probably, yeah, probably March to November-ish. The club closed that year for renovations. And so, you know, much different from my first week there, where there were 200 children in that village. Just, must have been spring break. They're coming. Oh my gosh, we don't have enough GOs. To the end of the season, where they were closing the club down in order to do some major renovations, I guess. And we had 50 GMs in the village that last week. It was so much fun. They had fun. We had fun. I had a couple kids that I took care of. Maybe there were 3 or 4 little 4-year-olds, and we just hung out all day and took them to the beach and gave them their swim lesson, and they took their nap and did all the things. But it was
Well, excuse me, Pam. Excuse me, Pam. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. Let's get back to these 200 kids, because what was she in fact telling the truth? Were there 200 when you got there? And what was it like? Because I don't think you've ever had to watch or take care of that many, right?
You're right. Yes, there were that many kids in the village. That we had a huge mini club crew. It was divided by, there was a baby club, there was a mini club, and then of course in the mini club were a age range of children. So I literally, for the most of the season, was taking care of the 4-year-olds. And then there was, the 5 and 6-year-old crew. And then, each age level had a different team taking care of them. And we had this very organized rotation. We would take them to swim lessons. My friend Carol was the swim instructor. So she would give them the little swim lesson. And then maybe the next one, we'd go down to the beach and we'd draw a circle in the sand and we would play at the beach. And if the waves, which they usually were pretty mellow, we would take them out in the water and play a little bit. And then we would go take them to their lunch. And then it would be nap time. And they literally had one hotel room that they put mattresses on the entire floor. And the kids would go and sleep in there. That was my favorite duty, honestly, because I could lean against the door so no one could get out, and then I could take a nap too, which was amazing because you know how late we stay up at Club Med.
All right, let me ask you something. Is it here that you're introduced to trapeze? Because you sent me a wonderful photo. What was it here? Okay, so what made you want to try that?
Oh my gosh, the trapeze. Well, that's another thing we took the kids to, was we would take them to the flying trapeze, and they would, kids are brave. They'll do anything. They're just climbing right up that little ladder. And so I thought, you know what? If the kids that I'm taking to this thing can do it, I can do this too. So I remember the first time climbing up that metal ladder that moves around, like it's not solid. You're like kind of, I don't know, as you're climbing, you're moving around and you finally get to the top, and then you're standing on this little tiny piece of metal and you're holding the trapeze with one hand and you're holding onto another thing with the other hand, and they tell you just let go and jump. But you're wondering how your hand gets there. Like, how are you going to do it? But you do it, and then you become addicted. It's amazing flying through that air. And Christian, Bob Christian, was that his name? Bob, he was the famous circus guy. Oh, he was amazing. Peter Gold, who has been on your program before. Shout out to Peter, because Peter is the one that was my, teacher as far as the trapeze goes. And then there was Sylvie, who was this lovely, lovely lady who was also part of their circus team. And we loved it. We would practice, and then we put on shows at midnight every couple weeks, or maybe every week, I don't remember. But we would be in the show doing those flips and flying through the air from one bar to another. And that just, when I think about it, it's very surreal. And it is one thing I like, when you do 2 truths and a lie at those things you have to do at work. That's one thing that I can trick people with, because most people haven't been on a flying trapeze, right?
True. Well, another interesting thing, and I recently spoke about this on my episode on my first season, was I see you were here in July. So this is where you encounter, I believe, your first Bastille Day. And did you know what the heck was going on?
Not really, because just before that, we did 4th of July, which obviously is our American holiday. And everybody, well, we knew what that was because I'm an American, right? But then I get to Bastille Day, and I'm not 100% sure what Bastille Day is, but I'm going along with it. And it was very fun. What they did was we were selected at we used to have these giant geo meetings where they would tell us what's going to go on for the week and what's happening. And so there was 6 of us selected to be on the champagne punch drink fountain. And I wasn't really sure what that looked like, but then we were taken backstage and we took that stage makeup, picture the white makeup a clown would put on their face, but it's gold. And we had to cover our entire bodies, our face, our neck, our ears, our everywhere, our entire body with the gold makeup. And then they gave us a little gold like wrap around and I think a little bathing suit bottom, and then just like a little wraparound bathing suit top. And the guys just had something tied around their waist that was gold. And then we went on this 2-story contraption, literally like a big punch fountain where people would bring their glass up to get the punch in their cup. And we had to stand out there in the probably 80 or 85 degrees with 80% humidity weather as very still statues. So the drink fountain would look beautiful. And that's what I did on 4th of July and on Bastille Day.
Well, yeah, let me just interject here. So seasoners, as you're listening to this, head over to the My First Season Facebook page because Pamela has the most amazing photo of this with, I believe Peter Gold is also in the photo, right?
Like, he is. Peter is in the photo.
She's got some awesome photos. So specifically this one, if you got to see it to believe it. So please head on over there after when you hear this episode.
It's a hit. I do try to share it on my social media every Bastille Day.
I'm thinking here, who had the cuter guys, the scuba team or the circus team? I don't know, man. It sounds like I'm looking at your photos and
I don't know. Okay. We had, I think
I don't know how you did it. Okay.
Every team had cute guys, Greg. That's Club Med, and cute girls. I mean, that's like Club Med's thing, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
How does that keep
Everybody
happening?
was cute. And if they weren't cute, they had the best personality. And then we thought they were cute anyway, and they became cute. I think that's how it works, right?
Yeah. Well, I became cuter the more the drinks the lady had. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Let me see. I'm guessing, though, even though you're having a great time, you weren't that far removed. You were just a lifeguard at the pool. And now you're doing circus, you're in the shows, they're painting you gold. And how many days afterwards were you still having gold paint on your sheets? Like, was it really easy to get off this gold paint, or did you still have some like 3 days later?
Yeah, so our problem was on Bastille Day that day. When you're on a little island, sometimes things happen. And one of the things that happens is the power goes out. The power and the water went out. So we had no way of showering after that. And we had to go in the ocean to get it off. And it was salt water, right? And no soap. And so my pores were definitely clogged for at least a week after that. It wasn't beautiful, but still worth the memory.
And was it this experience with the kids and all this? You went, wait a minute, I want to go to a singles village, and then Cancun came calling. Did you request Cancun, or that's where they needed you?
I did. Yes. Honestly, that is after being in a village with so many kids and taking care of 4-year-olds day in and day out. It was exhausting. And I thought, those hostesses, they look like they're having a great time sitting there in that little chair, selling bar beads and answering questions.
Putting spoons in glasses.
Yes, and taking people to the table for dinner, and they look so pretty. I think I'd like to be one of them. And I did get lucky, and they did offer me the hostess position in Cancun. Although, if truth be told, Eleuthera's Kids Club was probably more fun experience. But Cancun was gorgeous and wonderful, and we had a lot of fun there too.
Well, yeah, Cancun 86, 87. I mean that was the height, right? I mean that's the place to be.
You couldn't beat it.
And so I mentioned Bob Fagan was your chief here.
Yes.
So what do you got from Cancun? You have any stories, any anecdotes?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, one of the things in Cancun that happened to me, this was kind of scary, but every once in a while, you could talk your way into an excursion because they had excursions. And so somehow I talked my way into the Cozumel excursion, and I got to go on an airplane and go over on one of the dive boats. And so that was really fun to be able to do that. So I went down and, being a GO, I want to be, you're always taking care of people. So even though I was just going along for fun, I wasn't a dive instructor, I still felt like I'm taking care of people as we're doing this. So the there was underneath about 25 feet down, there's a little arch, and Philippe, who was our dive instructor, went through first. Then everybody was following him. But as I was going down, my air was getting harder and harder to breathe. And, remember, even though I've been on 50 dives, I really am not trained as well as I should have been. I wasn't officially certified in the real way, like Patty or Nowie. I was Club Med certified and needed to be with an instructor at all times. And so I suddenly realized like, oh, the air isn't going to come out of this anymore. So I got the guy in front of me to buddy breathe with me. And by the time I broke surface, Philippe was already there in my face going, "What happened? What happened?" And I told him. And we realized that when the guys on the boat set up our tanks, they didn't turn it back the half turn. So the air was just having trouble coming out of the tank. It was full of air. And so, yeah, it was scary, but he forced me to go on the second dive so I wouldn't be scared of diving. And I want to shout out to Philippe, who lives in the Seychelles Islands now. And I don't know if he's retired.
Excuse me, Pam, this is Philippe Blanchard? Blanchard?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. He lives in Seychelles and he's had a career owning a scuba company. Just recently found him a few years ago, but that's what he's been doing all these years. But thankful to him that he made me go back down on that next dive so I wouldn't be scared. So, yeah, thankful to him because I still dive to this day.
And seeing as how you're at Cancun at this time, this would have been your first Christmas and New Year's, I guess, away from home.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Christmas was so fun. I remember Christmas morning, I was sitting in the hostess desk and I got a phone call from home. And so I was really excited. They transferred the phone call to me, and I was kind of feeling sad without my family. And I get on the phone and I find out that my sister got engaged to her boyfriend. So that, kind of cheered up the day. That was really exciting. But all my friends were in a parade. So because I was the one who had to man the hostess desk, everybody else was in a parade. So they were going by on their floats and their cute little costumes. And I just got to watch the parade. Santa was there. It was really fun. Club Med just always does everything big. They make it fun. There's costumes, there's shows, there's games. Just it really, when you think about it, right, Greg? I mean, everything there was just magical, always.
Right?
Yeah.
I would have paid them to work there. I only have 450 a month, but it's all I have. It's yours.
Exactly.
Who's Barry the bus driver? Why
Oh my
what am I
God.
looking at here? Is this a nickname or is this he was actually a bus driver named Barry? What's going on here?
He was a bus driver named Barry. So Barry the bus driver, he was awesome. So this is back in Eleuthera.
Okay.
Barry the bus driver, he drove the little tram or the bus between the main village and then the water ski shack. What did we call the annex restaurant? There was an annex restaurant and a water ski shack over on the other side of the island, which, it's only a mile apart. So that was his job. So Barry, the bus driver, would do this offering every year or whenever to take us to the caves. So to go like spelunking, I guess is what we would call it. What were those caves called?
Hatchet Bay Cave.
Yes, that's it. Hatchet Bay Cave. So you would go at night and we all paid him $5 to help pay for the gas for the bus, right? And for his time and whatever. So everybody handed $5 over to Barry and we all got on. And I always picture that we had torches with us because I don't know if in your day they used torches, but boy, we
Okay,
used
by
torches.
Pamela, by torch, do you mean flashlight or an actual torch?
Oh no, an actual torch. It was a piece of wood that had a cloth wrapped around the top. And then they literally would soak it in gasoline and then light it on fire.
Okay, like old school. All right.
Old school. So I'll tell you about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go back to that one because I have a
Okay.
few stories about the torches.
Okay.
But when I look at the pictures, I don't see the torches. I'm seeing little flashlights. So maybe I embellished that in my mind, but we did go in those caves. And the cool thing about that cave is there's an entrance from the ocean that you can literally scuba dive in. And I know my friend Dean Bernal, who also, shout out to Dean, is an amazing human who's been spending his entire life saving the ocean and doing wonderful things for our world. He told me that he did dive. He was on the dive team. He dove from the ocean side all the way down and came out into those caves, which is so cool. But we walked through and there were bats in there. And oh my gosh, just the most exciting experience. I always think about that cave, the spelunking experience we had with Barry, the bus driver.
What's your New Year's Eve like there? Are you in some kind of Las Vegas showgirl show?
Oh my
What
gosh,
happened there?
yes, I was. Okay, this is what we had on. We had on so picture those feather thing, like a big feather thing sticking out, like it starts at my back and then it goes around all the way around my head with the feathers sticking out. And then, of course, we had on our little heels and our, high, I don't know, little white leotard and probably nude nylons back in those days, right? And we were in a total kick line and the whole Las Vegas showgirl thing, 100% is what we did on New Year's. And it was so much fun. What an experience. I mean, those shows, I don't know if you were in a lot of the shows, Greg. I have a feeling you were. This is
I was, but not by my own, volition. Okay. I was volunteered, or as they say, voluntold. So
voluntold. So that's what I was going to tell you. So
okay.
I think it was my first full day that I was there, and I was approached by, the choreographer who was French and beautiful and could dance and do all the things. And she said to me in her beautiful French accent, which I will butcher because my French accent isn't good anymore, but she's like, Pamela, I would like for you to be in the show. And I said, show? What do you mean show? Oh, the ballet. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I don't do ballet. I play football. Like, I don't do ballet. And she goes, oh, no, no, no. I teach you. So she was not taking no for an answer. And
Okay.
so
Good one.
that night, Greg, midnight
I
is
play
when we
I
had to
play
practice.
I play football. I never thought of
Yeah.
using that one. Damn.
I know,
Okay.
but she didn't fall for it.
I know they
But it
never
was
do, right?
true.
Okay.
In college, we played intramurals and I loved playing football. So I really did like to play football. So I wasn't lying. I just
Okay.
was trying to let her know that I was a little tougher than a ballerina. But I think ballerinas are pretty tough, is what I learned from her.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So
Very
yeah, so the shows for people that are listening and maybe don't know, any show that happens, the GOs had to practice usually from midnight till 2 in the morning is when we would rehearse the shows and learn all the lines and the dances and all the things that we needed to learn to be in them, because that's when the majority of us are not working. And so that's what we did is midnight to 2 in the morning, we'd be practicing these shows. And then about two, we'd go over to the disco to see what was happening. If anything exciting going on. And maybe we'd go to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning and then we had to be up again for work. So that was our life 24/7.
yes. Speaking of that life, was there any people that you encountered there that you would like to shout out? Like people you haven't mentioned yet?
Oh my gosh. I was looking to see who I didn't mention. Well, so yeah, Megan McWhinney, Kraus, Hillary Ripple, Carol the lifeguard. Oh, Richie from what was Richie? Snorkeling? He was snorkeling. Richie Para, Ted. We had my friend Laura Rivers, who's amazing. I think she was a hostess when she was with us, but beautiful girls. Jean, so many, so many. Esther. And then from the Cancun side, we can't forget. I think I told you about Tammy Jean. I probably haven't mentioned Tammy Jean, the picnic queen, but she is an infamous Club Med GO from the 80s that
Okay, well, wait a minute. So Tammy Jean was doing the picnic at Cancun?
yes.
Okay, because usually that's usually it's a guy. I mean, all the ones I know of as a guy. That's pretty cool that it was
That was very true. So what happened was she was a bartender. She was my roommate in Cancun. She started, I think she was more like substituting for picnics here and there. Then off we went. I went home and she ended up going to another village. And as if you remember, we would get mail and they had the mail slots and they'd be by your last name. So there was alphabet and each box had, like A through C was in one box, D, on and on and on. So one day someone told her she had mail and she's like, "What? I don't have any mail. What do you mean I have mail? I looked in the S box with my last name and it's not there." And then they said it's in the Q box. So sure enough, because I had written her a letter and I had named her Tammy Jean the Picnic Queen. That's what I wrote on there. And that the first time, anyone called her that and it stuck and everyone called her that from then on there. And she was definitely the picnic queen. She was hilarious. She's still hilarious. Lots of fun.
well, I hope she hears your episode.
Oh, I'll make sure she hears it.
Nice. Did we forget anyone?
Oh, there's probably so many people.
Well, let's move to an interesting part when we had, in 2020, like you said, the world shut down. So why don't you just tell me a little bit about that story that
Okay.
what two of
So
your Geo team friends from Eleuthera did?
yeah, so the world shut down and we were kind of lonely and starting to think of things to do and reminisce. And I don't even know how it all came about, but I remember thinking, let's start a little group. I started writing letters to people and sending cards, and then I just started talking to my friend Megan, who lives in Canada as well, and she was in the mini club with me and said, "Hey, we should try to find all our friends from Eleuthera. Wouldn't that be fun?" And she said yes. And then Hillary was Megan's roommate. She was also a mini club Geo. And Hillary, you want to help us? Sure, I'll help. I'm not really good at it, but I'll help, right? So honestly, Megan is the one that's good at it. And she's just like she's like a detective. She can hunt down people anywhere. And she found, we all did, but I got to give Megan a shout out for the most credit for the finder's fee of all these people. We found about 80 of the 100 plus people that worked in Eleuthera with us. And if you were in that summer Eleuthera 86 and we haven't found you yet, please send me a message because we're still looking for you. We have a list of people we have not found. I know who we haven't found. Mike Edwards, where are you? Mike Edwards was from Arizona. He even came to my wedding reception in California, and I haven't seen him since. Oh,
Oh, Mike, come on, Mike, if you're
come
listening to
on,
this,
Mike. Where
please
are
get.
you? Where's Mike
Can you
Edwards?
reach you on Facebook,
Oh,
Pamela?
yeah, I'm easy to find. Easy to find.
Well, and tell me about these reunions you guys had.
Okay, so we found all the people and then we started planning a reunion and we planned one, but it was a little too soon for the shutdown. So we ended up having to cancel. So in 2023,
Three.
yeah, 2023, we had our first Eleuthera reunion and we stayed at Coco de Mama on Receivers
Oh,
Beach.
excuse me, Pam. How many were you roughly?
Well, there were 21 people, but I think there were 8 GOs
Okay,
on that
got it.
day.
Okay, nice.
So we had Pedro from Portugal. We had Jean from Texas. We had Sue from Arizona. Laura from Charleston. Megan from Canada. Hillary, currently from Florida, and me from California.
As we're recording this is summer 2020 2025. Are you planning another one for this year?
Yes, well, and we just had a second one this summer. So a couple months ago or last month, it's still July, right? In June 2025.
June? Yeah.
We also went to Eleuthera, but I just have to tell everyone about that beach. That's our picnic beach. When we booked Coco de Mama, we did not realize that that was our picnic beach until we got there and we're like, wait a minute, this is our picnic beach. It was just so surreal to be there and be at our picnic beach without even knowing that's what we had booked. So, yes, this will be our 40th anniversary. I just realized, oh, Don Marsigliano, let me shout out. See, I'm going to remember all the people I'm forgetting. Don was amazing. He lives close to me in Tustin, California, which isn't far from where I live. He just reminded me, hey, this will be our 40th anniversary next summer. So we're planning a little reunion and we're trying to just find people to go. And we've already got people signed up. We're going to stay at Pineapple Fields, which is right by Tippy's. Does anyone remember Tippy's?
I
Tippy's.
think that's usually how I exit a nightclub. Is that how it's spelled? Okay,
That's
okay.
it. That's the perfect thing. Tippy's is great. It's a little outdoor restaurant with a bar, and they have live music, and it's right, down the beach from the Club Med Beach in Eleuthera. And we also like all the places we used to go are still there.
Well,
Buccaneer.
yeah. Well, excuse me, Pam. Do you actually go to the location of the old Club Med there? Do you plan that as
Oh
part of the
my
reunion or
gosh.
no?
Yes, absolutely. I can't even go to the island without doing that. So it's very, I don't even know what a good word. I already used the word surreal, but I guess I have to use it again because that's the way to describe it. When you walk in, we call it the Club Med Ruins because that's what it is. For those that don't know, it was ruined by a hurricane in 1999. And then I'm assuming it was, leveled in some way. And then another company bought it and was going to turn it into some kind of, resort. And then it just never happened. So the pool is still sitting there. It's got yucky green water, halfway full, like a swamp. The disco was in the basement. So the basement's still there, but there's no buildings. It's all just the floor plan. The stage, you could see where the stage was and where the chairs used to be set up, and there's still tiles on the ground. The only standing place is the mini club, which is where I worked, which is really crazy. So yeah, and we literally found bar beads, real bar beads
What?
with the
Okay.
Club Med little trident on them. They were over in the spot, close to the boutique, but there wasn't what we think it was the spot where they were stored, like the money and the bar beads and the, all this, probably like a safe kind of an area or a bank or something. And both times we found them, but this time we actually found more than we did last time. Megan had enough to make an entire bracelet, and it was
Whoa.
all the colors,
You,
orange,
you,
yellow,
you know what I'm
and white.
thinking, Pam? If you
What?
somehow invent a time machine, you make a time capsule, you bury those bar beads and go back to your first season, and then you'll have all those
Oh,
bar beads, right?
oh, that would
Who
be
says I'm
good.
not smart? Huh? Okay. Okay.
One thing it's fun about going to Eleuthera is that every person you meet there, the locals that live on the island, because they're so friendly and you can't pass someone without having a conversation. And every single one of them either worked at Club Med with us back in the day, or their mom or their granny, as one cute young boy in a bar told me. We were at Buccaneers. He goes, "Oh, yeah, my granny worked there." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, thanks, honey. That's great. Your granny."
Okay.
I guess that's where we're at, what age we're at now at this point,
Yeah,
but
okay. It sneaks up on you, huh?
it
Okay.
sneaks up
Okay.
on you. But we've been reunited with many. But Bruce, the bus driver, came last time and hung out with us, and that was really fun. And oh, there's a man named Wallace. We met a bartender named Jerry this last time, and I know I have a picture of Jerry when I
Wait,
saw his
excuse me,
face.
Pam. Sorry, was it Bruce or Barry, the bus driver? I thought it was Barry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry,
did I
Barry.
call him Barry? I didn't call
Well,
him
no,
Barry.
you called him Bruce, but I don't know if there's another bus. If this was a second
Oh,
bus driver named Bruce.
you know
Okay.
what? I
Good. Okay.
Nope. I called him Barry, but his
Yes.
name is Bruce the
Oh,
bus
okay.
driver.
All right. No,
You
no, we
did
caught it. We caught it in time, so no need
okay.
uh,
So Bruce the
to edit.
bus driver, because
Bruce.
Barry, well, I have to talk. I do need to shout out to Barry. We call him Bahama Barry. So in Cancun, driving the water ski boat was Bahama Barry, and
Bahama Barry? But
yeah,
he's
he's
in Mexico. Why do they call him that?
because he's from Eleuthera.
Oh,
And he worked for the club, I think at least 10 years, but he lives in San Diego. Barry is an amazing individual with a beautiful wife and a wonderful family. He was in Eleuthera this last summer when we were there a month ago, and he met up with us and we had a great time having lunch together. But Barry is awesome as well. He's an Eleuthera guy, but he's from my Cancun era.
okay. Nice. Nice.
Yes.
Okay, Pamela, even though you go back to Club Med for reunions, is there anything specific that you miss about working at Club Med?
Oh, yes. I think everyone who worked at Club Med misses everything about it. But the big thing is that whole Club Med vibe. The freedom to be who you are. You're always trying new things. You're taking all these risks. You're meeting new people from all over the world. Like, I mean, all over the world, places I had never even heard of. Hearing so many languages and learning new languages, just everything. And then the breathtaking locations. Like, how could you see those in pictures and in paintings and on desktops now on computers, but we actually lived there. We lived in a place with pink and white sand and turquoise water and clean air where we always felt safe. Like I never felt like I was unsafe being alone at night on a beach. Amazing. And on top of that, just being in the best shape of my life because there was so much physical activity all the time. I was doing the Spanish web as part of the circus. We were diving and water skiing and windsurfing and I don't know, just playing games. We remember those. I don't know if you ever did the Olympics with the GMs. We would divide the whole village into two teams and do Olympic events, and we just never stopped moving. So
Yeah,
we were
I've
in
seen your photos, Pam. You were pretty ripped, like
I was.
it was like you got a needle and thread because she's ripped. It was that level. Again, check out her photos. Okay.
Yeah, I was a swimmer, so I had a good start, and then Club Med, just the amount of activity that we had really kept us in amazing shape,
Yeah,
all of
people say, "What do you?" I know you lift weights, Greg, but what do you do for cardio? What do I do for cardio? I'm on my feet 16 hours. Okay, I don't have to do
us.
cardio.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, nice, very nice. And other than, well, you've had such an amazing experience. I have no doubt how you're going to answer this question, but are you glad for your experience with Club Med, and did you take anything away from it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When anyone asks what was your best job ever, it's hands down Club Med. Nothing comes close to it. Even my career of being a teacher that I love, 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 Club Med still wins that one little year. And I know some of you have 10 years, some of you have 15 years. I only had one, and it's still so huge. It was such a huge experience. And part of it was just opening up my mind to the world and to different ideas and different ways of living. And that was one thing. But the biggest thing I tell people is about the customer service that we learned. We learned to give the best customer service anyone could ever give. And I use that in everything that I do. At one point, I was elected to the city council in my city for 4 years. I was the mayor pro tem. I was able to use that customer service during hard situations where people are yelling at you. When you're elected, you're half the people love you and half the people hate you. It's one of those situations, no matter what. I could use that customer service in that position. I use it in my classroom with the parents. I use it with, our bosses. And I just think, even serving my family, my husband passed away about a year and a half ago, but we were married for 35 years and we have three sons that are in their 20s. And just, the way I even served my family all came from just that great, customer service and just making sure that everyone is enjoying life and that we're all enjoying it together and everyone's included. I think that's the big thing about Club Med, right? Is the GOs are waiting for the GMs to come. And when they come, we're like, come play with me. Come here. Let me show you this game. Let me show you this activity. Let me show you what to do so that when you get on your vacation, you're not trying to figure everything out. There's people there, cool, in shape people that are friendly, that are saying, hey, come and play with us, and making you part of their group. And so I've always been that way. Like I'm very inclusive. And I think a lot of that I learned from Club Med.
Excellent. And you mentioned your boys. I think their ages 25, 27, 29. Do you want to shout them out, or are they going to be
I
embarrassed if you
do.
talk about
Oh,
their
I'll shout
name?
him out. So my oldest, Christopher, he is right now a probationary firefighter in the city of Fullerton and married to a beautiful young lady named Holly. They just bought their first house, so I'm really proud of them. My middle child, Dakota, is an electrician and he's almost finished with his apprenticeship program. And so he's doing really well as well. And my younger son, Alexander, is wanting to be a stunt man. He loves to do stage combat, he loves acting. So he's playing with that area of life, but he's also a rock climber. And talk about ripped. Let me tell you, that boy has abs and muscles
He
on
got
top
it
of
from you, Pam. He got it from
muscles.
you. Okay.
Yes, well, my oldest and youngest were also swimmers and water polo players, and so was my husband. So we're kind of a fish family. We love the water. We love, being in the water, and we love vacationing at the water and all the things. So there you go.
Very nice. All right, Pamela, that is the end of this interview. But I want to say, I can't remember how I contacted you. It could have been you liked a post or said something. So I'm so glad I reached out to you. So glad you said yes to me because, most people say no. Man, and you brought it today. You were so, so happy and charming. And I just want to thank you for that and for saying yes. I really do appreciate you sharing your story with us here today.
Well, thanks for doing this. I've been enjoying reading or listening to the podcast that you've done previously. And I'll shout out to Peter Gold and then actually Megan again, because she sent me Peter's interview that you did. And so that's how I got connected, because I did have to comment with my trapeze picture on Peter's interview saying, hey, he was my teacher.
That's right. Yeah, I saw your
That's how we
comment,
got
and then
connected.
that's right. And then took a shot, because normally I get rejected as much as I did back at Club Med. Oh, boom, boom, didn't
I know. That
shot.
was a
Yeah.
good one,
Okay,
Greg.
thank you.
So people, don't be shy. Let Greg interview you. It's not scary. And
Yes.
I love hearing people's Club Med stories. They're just so much fun.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to be happy to hear your voice again if they haven't, if they're one of like the 20 people that still waiting to be contacted or might
Exactly.
might
Maybe we'll
hear
find
this.
some of our friends. Mike Edwards, where are you?
Mike, get in touch with her. Come on, Mike. We know you could do it. Well, thank you so much again, Pamela. I really do appreciate it for
You're
you being
very
here.
welcome.
Everyone, that was the one and only Pamela Keller, and we'll see you all next week with another new installment. Say bye, Pam.
Bye.
Bye.